Every day you wake up is a test. Will you grow or stay the same? The world doesn't wait for your comfort. It rewards your preparation. Every skill you ignore today becomes a problem tomorrow. Learn every day, or one day you will regret it forever. Most people think learning is something you do at school and then graduate from. But the truth is, graduation is not the end of learning, it's the beginning of responsibility. The moment you stop learning, you don't stay where you are. You start falling behind. Life doesn't stand still, and neither does the world you're trying to succeed in. Everything around you is changing: technology, markets, skills, expectations. The question is not whether change is coming. The question is whether you are prepared for it. Learning is not a luxury reserved for students or professionals with free time. Learning is a requirement for anyone who wants to remain relevant. When you stop learning, you don't freeze your position, you lose it. Many people confuse experience with growth. They do the same thing for years and call it experience, but repetition without learning is not progress. It's stagnation. Growth happens when new information challenges old thinking. If your ideas today are the same as they were 5 years ago, the problem is not your circumstances, it's your mindset. Survival in today's world is no longer about physical strength or even hard work alone. It's about adaptability. And adaptability is powered by learning. The people who win are not the ones who work the longest hours, they are the ones who learn the fastest. They see shifts early because they are constantly feeding their minds. While others are reacting to change, learners are positioning themselves ahead of it. Every industry rewards those who understand it better than the average person. The moment your knowledge becomes outdated, your value decreases. This is why some people feel like they are working harder but getting less. Their effort is real, but their skill set is obsolete. Effort without updated understanding is exhausting and unproductive. Learning is also the foundation of confidence. When you know what you're doing, you move differently. You speak differently. You make decisions faster and with less fear. Fear thrives in ignorance, but confidence grows in understanding. The more you learn, the less you are controlled by uncertainty, and the more you are guided by clarity. Some people say they don't have time to learn, but what they really mean is they haven't made learning a priority. Time is not found, it is allocated. Everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference is how those hours are invested. Entertainment consumes time. Learning multiplies it. One builds comfort, the other builds capability. Learning doesn't always look impressive. It's quiet. It's reading when no one is watching. It's listening instead of talking. It's asking questions that expose what you don't know. But that humility is what creates long-term strength. Pride says, I already know. Wisdom says, there is more to learn. The cost of not learning is often invisible at first. It shows up slowly in missed opportunities, in being overlooked, in feeling stuck. Eventually, it becomes obvious. When others advance and you don't, it's rarely because they are smarter. It's because they stayed curious while others stayed comfortable. Learning sharpens your ability to solve problems. And problem solving is what the world pays for. The bigger the problem you can solve, the more valuable you become. That value is not accidental. It is built through intentional learning over time. Skills are acquired. Insights are developed. Mastery is earned. Survival is not just about staying alive, it's about staying effective. If you want to remain effective in your career, your business, or your life, you must commit to learning as a daily practice. Not when it's convenient, not when you feel motivated, but because your future depends on it. The people who thrive are not waiting for permission to grow. They are students for life. They read, study, observe, and adapt. While others complain about change, learners leverage it. Learning is not optional. It is the price of staying relevant in a world that refuses to slow down. Most people believe income is directly connected to effort. They assume that if they work longer hours, push harder, and sacrifice more, the results will eventually catch up. But effort alone does not determine income. Understanding does. Two people can work the same number of hours and produce vastly different results because what they know and how they think is different. Income is a reflection of the value you bring to the marketplace. And value is not measured by how tired you are at the end of the day. It is measured by how effectively you solve problems. The more complex the problem you can solve, the more you are paid. This is why someone can earn in an hour what another person earns in a week. It is not about time, it is about insight. When your income plateaus, it is usually not because you've reached your limit. It's because your understanding has stopped expanding. Growth in results follows growth in thinking. If you want different outcomes, you need different inputs. New information creates new perspectives, and new perspectives create new strategies. Many people stay stuck because they are trying to get paid for what they do instead of what they know. Tasks can be replaced. Knowledge cannot, at least not easily. The marketplace rewards those who can see what others cannot see and do what others cannot do. That ability comes from learning, not labor. Skills are the bridge between effort and income. You can apply effort without skill and remain stuck. But when effort is guided by skill, it becomes leverage. Learning turns effort into efficiency. Instead of working harder, you start working smarter. Instead of repeating the same actions, you refine them. Understanding also changes how you make decisions. People with limited knowledge hesitate, second guess, and react emotionally. People with deeper understanding move with intention. They see consequences before they happen. They make fewer mistakes because they recognize patterns others miss. That foresight is valuable, and value attracts income. There are people who feel underpaid not because they are undervalued, but because they are underdeveloped. The marketplace is honest. It pays according to contribution. When your contribution increases, compensation eventually follows. Learning is how you increase contribution without burning yourself out. Information changes behavior, and behavior changes results. When you learn better methods, better strategies, and better ways of thinking, your actions naturally improve. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You focus on what produces results. This is why learning is one of the highest return investments you can make. Your current income is not a judgment of your worth as a person. It is feedback on your current level of understanding. And feedback is useful if you are willing to listen. Instead of being offended by where you are, get curious about what you need to learn next. Curiosity turns frustration into progress. Learning also gives you options. When you understand more, you are not trapped by a single path. You can pivot, you can negotiate, you can create opportunities instead of waiting for them. Options reduce fear, and reduced fear improves performance. Confidence grows when you know you can adapt. Some people spend years trying to increase income by adding more hours. Others spend months increasing income by adding more understanding. Time is finite, knowledge compounds. What you learn today can pay you for years if applied correctly. This is why learning is not an expense, it is an asset. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is rarely effort. It is insight. When insight increases, income follows. Not overnight, not magically, but predictably. The marketplace always makes room for those who understand how to create value. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many people think discipline is punishment, restriction, or pressure. In reality, discipline is protection. It is the decision to do what is necessary now so you don't suffer later. Every meaningful outcome in life is preceded by a disciplined choice, whether people realize it or not. Pain is unavoidable, but the type of pain you experience is optional. You can choose the pain of discipline, or you can accept the pain of regret. One is temporary and purposeful, the other is permanent and heavy. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Most regret is not about what people did wrong, but about what they didn't do at all. The book they never read, the skill they never developed, the opportunity they kept postponing. Discipline would have felt uncomfortable in the moment, but regret becomes uncomfortable for a lifetime. Discipline is what bridges intention and outcome. Everyone has goals, everyone has dreams, but discipline is what turns desire into reality. Without discipline, intention remains a wish. With discipline, intention becomes action, and action produces results. Small disciplined actions may seem insignificant in the moment. Reading 10 pages, practicing for 20 minutes, learning one new idea. But consistency transforms small actions into massive outcomes. What you do daily matters more than what you do occasionally. Discipline turns ordinary days into extraordinary futures. Many people wait to feel motivated before they act. Discipline acts regardless of feeling. Motivation is unreliable, discipline is dependable. Feelings change, circumstances shift, energy fluctuates. Discipline remains steady because it is rooted in decision, not emotion. Discipline also builds identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce trust in who you are becoming. Every time you avoid discipline, you weaken that trust. Over time, your habits shape your self-image, and your self-image shapes your behavior. Discipline is not just about what you do, it's about who you believe you are. Avoiding discipline often feels like freedom, but it is actually a trap. What feels easy today becomes difficult tomorrow. Skipping preparation leads to stress. Ignoring growth leads to stagnation. Choosing comfort delays consequences, but it never removes them. Discipline brings consequences forward so you can manage them on your terms. Regret grows quietly. It doesn't announce itself immediately. It shows up years later when options are limited and time feels shorter. Discipline, on the other hand, shows results gradually but surely. You may not see the benefit today, but your future self will be grateful. Discipline creates margin in life. When you prepare consistently, you reduce emergencies. When you learn regularly, you reduce confusion. When you practice discipline, you reduce chaos. Margin is what allows you to respond calmly instead of reacting emotionally. That calmness is a competitive advantage. Many people believe discipline limits freedom, but the opposite is true. Discipline creates freedom. Financial freedom comes from disciplined saving and learning. Time freedom comes from disciplined systems. Emotional freedom comes from disciplined thinking. Without discipline, freedom remains an illusion. The future is shaped by the choices you repeat. Discipline ensures those choices work in your favor. Regret ensures they work against you. Every disciplined decision is a vote for the future you want. Every undisciplined decision is a vote for the future you will wish you had avoided. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about direction. You don't need to do everything right. You need to do the right things consistently. When you choose discipline today, you protect yourself from the pain of regret tomorrow. Every problem you face has a history. It didn't appear out of nowhere. In most cases, it is the result of something that was ignored, postponed, or misunderstood. Problems rarely announce themselves when they are small. They grow quietly in the absence of awareness and learning. What you don't learn today doesn't disappear. It waits. And when it returns, it comes back as a complication, a setback, or a crisis. Lack of knowledge is not neutral. It accumulates interest. The longer you delay learning, the more expensive the lesson becomes. Many people are surprised by problems that were completely predictable. Financial stress, career stagnation, broken systems, missed opportunities. None of these happen suddenly. They are the outcome of gaps in understanding. When you don't learn how something works, you eventually pay for that ignorance with time, money, or peace of mind. Learning acts as prevention. It allows you to see issues before they become emergencies. When you understand patterns, you can anticipate outcomes. When you understand systems, you can fix weaknesses early. Most crises are not caused by bad luck, but by unaddressed ignorance. Avoidance feels comfortable in the moment. Learning feels demanding. But comfort now creates discomfort later. Every time you avoid learning a necessary skill, you are scheduling a future problem. You may not know the date, but the appointment is already on the calendar. The cost of ignorance often shows up as dependency. When you don't know how things work, you must rely on others to make decisions for you. That dependence limits your options and increases your risk. Learning gives you control. Control reduces vulnerability. Problems grow faster than skills that are neglected. The world evolves whether you prepare for it or not. New tools emerge, rules change. Expectations rise. If your knowledge remains static, problems multiply. Learning keeps you aligned with reality instead of fighting it. Many people try to solve today's problems with yesterday's understanding. That never works. Problems are signals that your current level of thinking is insufficient for your current level of challenge. Learning upgrades your thinking so you can meet the moment with clarity instead of confusion. Learning also reduces fear. Fear often comes from uncertainty, and uncertainty comes from not knowing. The more you understand, the less intimidating problems become. Knowledge doesn't remove challenges, but it removes panic. It turns obstacles into puzzles instead of threats. Every skill you fail to develop becomes a limitation. Every concept you refuse to learn becomes a barrier. Over time, these barriers narrow your path. Options shrink not because opportunities disappear, but because you are not equipped to recognize or handle them. The marketplace is unforgiving to ignorance. It rewards competence and penalizes unpreparedness. When you lack understanding, mistakes cost more. Decisions take longer. Recovery becomes harder. Learning lowers the cost of error by increasing the quality of decisions. Some people spend years blaming circumstances for their problems, never realizing that knowledge was the missing piece. When learning is ignored, excuses multiply. When learning is embraced, solutions appear. Knowledge doesn't guarantee success, but ignorance almost guarantees struggle. Learning early saves time later. A few hours spent understanding something now can prevent months of stress in the future. The return on learning is not just growth. It is avoidance of unnecessary pain. The smartest problems are the ones you never have because you learned in advance. Every problem you face today is either a lesson learned too late or a lesson waiting to be learned now. The choice is not whether you will pay the price. The choice is whether you will pay it through learning or through suffering. Most people underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They look for dramatic breakthroughs and overnight success, not realizing that real transformation happens quietly over time. Learning works the same way. It doesn't explode, it compounds. And compounding is one of the most powerful forces in the world. When you learn a little every day, the results may seem insignificant at first. One idea, one insight, one improved skill doesn't feel life-changing in the moment. But learning is not designed to impress you today. It is designed to reward you tomorrow. What feels small now becomes massive later. Compounding works because learning builds on itself. Each new concept connects to previous understanding. Each skill strengthens another. Over time, your ability to think, decide, and perform improves at an accelerating rate. The more you know, the faster you can learn. That is the hidden advantage of consistency. Many people quit learning because they don't see immediate results. They assume that if it doesn't pay off quickly, it isn't working. But compounding is invisible before it becomes undeniable. Just like interest, the greatest growth happens later, not at the beginning. Those who stay patient benefit the most. Learning compounds in confidence as well. Early on, you may feel unsure, slow, or inexperienced. But with consistent learning, clarity replaces confusion. Confidence grows not from pretending to know, but from actually knowing. That confidence changes how you speak, how you act, and how others respond to you. Small daily learning habits outperform occasional intense effort. Reading a few pages daily is more powerful than reading a book once in a while. Practicing a skill briefly each day beats cramming for hours once a month. Consistency creates momentum, and momentum multiplies results. Compounding also protects you from overwhelm. When learning becomes a daily habit, growth feels manageable. You are not trying to change everything at once. You are simply improving a little at a time. That steady progress reduces frustration and increases sustainability. The benefits of compounded learning extend beyond knowledge. It sharpens discipline, improves focus, and strengthens problem-solving ability. Each day you learn, you reinforce the habit of growth. That habit eventually becomes part of your identity. You don't just learn, you become a learner. Learning compounds even when you are not aware of it. Ideas resurface later in unexpected ways. Concepts connect when facing new challenges. Skills you practice casually become tools you rely on heavily. What seemed unimportant at the time becomes essential when the moment arrives. The opposite is also true. Neglect compounds. When learning is postponed, the gap widens gradually. At first, it's barely noticeable. Over time, it becomes significant. Eventually, it becomes painful. Compounding works whether you use it or ignore it. People who commit to daily learning position themselves ahead of change. They don't panic when circumstances shift because they have built mental reserves. While others scramble to catch up, consistent learners adapt with confidence. Their preparation gives them options. Compounded learning also creates leverage. One skill learned today can open doors years later. One idea applied consistently can generate returns long after the effort is made. Learning once but benefiting repeatedly is the definition of leverage. Growth that compounds does not rely on motivation. It relies on habit. Habits remove decision fatigue and make progress automatic. When learning is part of your routine, improvement becomes inevitable. The most successful people are rarely the smartest in the room at the beginning. They are the ones who stayed committed to learning when others got distracted. Over time, compounding does what talent alone cannot. It separates those who grow from those who stall. What you learn today may not change your life immediately, but repeated daily, it will change the trajectory of your life. Compounding doesn't rush, but it never fails. Many people believe that having good intentions is enough. They mean well, plan well, and hope things will work out. But intention without preparation is powerless. The world does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are ready for. Preparation is what turns intention into opportunity. The marketplace is practical, not emotional. It does not reward effort, desire, or potential. It rewards results. Results come from competence, and competence is built through preparation. When preparation is missing, even the best intentions fall short. Preparation begins with learning. You prepare by understanding your field, your audience, and the problems you are trying to solve. When you prepare, you reduce uncertainty. You anticipate challenges. You make fewer mistakes. Preparation is not about knowing everything. It is about knowing enough to act effectively. Opportunities often look like luck from the outside, but luck is usually preparation meeting timing. When timing arrives and preparation is absent, the opportunity passes unnoticed or unused. When preparation is present, even ordinary moments can become breakthroughs. Many people wait for confidence before they prepare. In reality, confidence is the result of preparation. When you know you've done the work, you show up differently. You speak with clarity. You act with decisiveness. Preparation removes hesitation because it replaces guessing with understanding. Preparation also separates professionals from amateurs. Amateurs rely on hope. Professionals rely on systems. They train, practice, study, and refine long before the moment arrives. When pressure appears, they perform because they have prepared in advance. The cost of unpreparedness is always higher than the cost of preparation. Unprepared decisions lead to errors. Errors lead to rework, loss, and stress. Preparation may feel slow, but it saves time in the long run by reducing mistakes and increasing accuracy. Preparation is especially important because the marketplace is competitive. Others are learning, improving, and positioning themselves. When you neglect preparation, you are not standing still, you are falling behind. Preparation keeps you relevant in an environment that constantly raises standards. Many people mistake business for preparation. Activity does not equal readiness. You can be busy and still unprepared. True preparation involves intentional learning, skill development, and reflection. It is focused, not frantic. Prepared people see opportunities others miss. Because they understand patterns, they recognize potential faster. While others hesitate, prepared individuals move with confidence. Speed without preparation is reckless. Speed with preparation is powerful. Preparation also builds resilience. When setbacks occur, prepared people recover faster. They understand what went wrong and how to adjust. They don't panic because they have a foundation to rely on. Preparation doesn't eliminate challenges, it equips you to handle them. The marketplace doesn't wait for anyone to get ready. It responds to those who already are. That response may come in the form of promotion, growth, trust, or reward. But it always follows preparation. Intentions may inspire you, but preparation sustains you. Preparation is what makes growth repeatable instead of accidental. It turns success into a process rather than a surprise. The difference between being overlooked and being rewarded is often preparation. When opportunity arrives, it doesn't ask how badly you want it. It asks how ready you are. Success doesn't ask how badly you want it. It asks how ready you are. The small choices you make today compound into tomorrow's results. Discipline, learning, and preparation are your only shields against regret. Decide now, grow daily, or watch opportunities pass you by.